We're gonna go ahead and record this session. So since you're here, and actually anybody that is registered will have this recording sent to you via email along with this slide presentation as well. So this particular session, we want to welcome you to the MoxieWorks Hours Essentials. And today we're going to be focused on your Moxie websites and creating a custom page. So today on the call, I am the presenter and Alex is in chat. Actually, hold on one second. Bear with me one moment. Stop sharing. I'm going to go reshare because I think that is the wrong slideshow. Bear with me one moment. I'm a techie person, but sometimes tech doesn't like me. So let me put that one into this one. Go. Thanks for bearing with me. There we go. That's the correct one. That's not it. So we're going to search. There we go. Now we got the right one going. Sorry about that. Alrighty, so I have myself on the call presenting. Alex is also floating in chat. So if you guys have questions about Moxie websites, anything that we're going over, please feel free to put them in chat as we're going over them. Also, if you could remain muted during the call, just so that we don't have any feedback on the recording. That way, if you decide to go back and watch it later, there isn't anything there distracting for you. Here's our agenda for today. We'll review our FAQs, share some best practices, tips, tricks with you, and then hopefully, if technology allows us to, we're going to dive in after going step by step through the slides, and we're going to actually show you a live demo of the product. So if you're already in the product, you just kind of want to see how it works, or maybe you've never seen it before, it kind of is twofold there. But don't worry, we'll leave some time at the end to address any questions that you have about creating custom pages on your Moxie website. So here are those FAQs that I mentioned. So this is open to anyone. If you are a leader in your office, a broker owner, a manager, a marketing person in the office, an agent, anyone is welcome to MoxieWorks Hours. The purpose is to help you hone your skills for the products, make money using the products. That's really always the biggest focus. Learning how they function, the features, the benefits, what some of the best practices are, and then of course the Q&A so that we can answer any questions that you have. If you need technical support, this isn't really a technical call, but you can always submit a ticket to support.moxieworks.com. And when and where we have these on Zoom. Right now, they're every other Thursday. I believe we're going to be working in more of those. Alex can jump in if you want to maybe weekly. And we'll have those Zoom registrations up throughout September. We'll be adding some as well. Alex, did you want to touch on that real quick?
Yeah, just be on the lookout for sessions, probably starting in October timeframe. So we'll be going to a weekly cadence so that we can give more content to everybody. Thank you, Angie.
Sure. And we just added that. We found through a lot of our surveys. So keep in mind as we're going through this, we are going to ask you to fill out a survey at the end. And because you guys have filled those surveys out, we're actually listening to a lot of the feedback. And some of that feedback was like, hey, we like to see this every week. And again, if you guys register and you're not able to make it because, hey, you're out selling a house or you're, talking to a client, that's your job. You'll have the recording that you can go back at your leisure so that you don't miss any of the great content that we have. We also recommend completing your launch training and all the e-learning sessions that are in your brand university as well. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that you can get to, a lot of good content to kind of get you up and running with the products. It is kind of a little bit of change management. It's something that's new, so sometimes it can feel overwhelming, but it's just one thing at a time, one day at a time, and you guys will get there. So here are the 4 Moxie products for agents, at least. Moxie Present, Moxie Impress, Moxie Engage, and Moxie Websites. Today's focus is on Moxie Websites and just the basics on how to create a custom page. So if we can keep our questions to this particular topic at hand, that would be really beneficial to everyone on the call, because if you have a question about Moxie Websites and custom pages, someone else probably has the same question. I probably had the same question at some point as we were getting started. So it's this particular session, we're going to go over some best practices, tips and tricks. And it's really just designed and intended to give you basic knowledge of how to create a custom page on your website. What does that entail? What could that include? If you're looking for something and you want to build something, where can you put it? How can you do it? But please remember also to always follow all local compliance rules and regulations. Remember also to have some fun with it. So if you can dream it, you can build it. Doesn't mean you can build it overnight, but Rome wasn't built overnight, so it's okay. So preparation and patience are key. Before you jump in and begin working on your website, it's really a good idea to think about what you envision your website to look like, how you can showcase your brand story or really your value proposition, and who you are and why people want to work with you, whether it's a brokerage site or an agent site. It's kind of the why behind it. So by visiting other real estate websites, both agent and brokerage sites for inspiration. Now, we never want to plagiarize anybody, but we can kind of see and determine maybe what our own style is and the type of information that we might want to include on our website. I always say, like, thinking outside of the box. Sometimes I just like to see what somebody else is thinking that I haven't thought of yet. Talking your sphere of influence. So what are they looking for? Like the people that your friends, your family, if they're on the market to buy or sell, or maybe even if you do rentals, if they're looking for home information on that journey, what type of information are they looking for? What do they expect to see on a website? They say content is king, and I always hear people say, but I don't know what to include. That just gives you an opportunity to really target your audience. The other thing that I like about that is when I go to people and I say, hey, I have a favor. Can you help me? I need some ideas for my website. When the website's done, I can send it to them and hopefully they will also share it, and I can get some referrals from them as well and their business. So also showcasing yourself as the area expert. So you can create community pages, area pages. That's something you can do with a custom page. Not only to establish yourself as that area expert, but it gives you that opportunity, again, going back to content, to have content on your website. A lot of people that I talk to, and I've been there myself, look, I'm an agent. I'm not a marketing person. Like, I'm not a website builder. I don't know what SEO is. All I want to know is when you Google me, I want to pop up first. And putting a lot of good stuff on your website, that's what's going to allow you to do that more organically than paid. But again, these are just basic. We're going to go through the basics of this, and then we'll have other sessions to dive into some of the nitty gritty, deeper dives. So also reading up, staying up to date on the local, the national industry trends. You can blog about them. And I can already see you, even though I can't see you, rolling your eyes at me. I've heard so many people say, I don't have time to blog. I don't have time to blog. Blogging, basically the definition is just a regularly updated website or web page that's run by like an individual or team or group. And it's very informal. It's a conversational style. And if you're already on Twitter, if you're on Facebook and Instagram and those kind of things, those are kind of like, Twitter's considered microblogging. But really, if you post something on Facebook and you talk about it, that's the essence of blogging. Blogging maybe on your website might be a little bit longer. It might not just be a few sentences. Maybe it's a paragraph or two. You can literally write about anything in the real estate industry, in your community, upcoming events, things like that. Maybe you have a cadence of once a week. Maybe you have a cadence of once every other week, but it's going to give you content. And again, you can do that with custom pages and blog pages on your website. If you've never built a website before, or maybe you have a Zap site or a business builder site, and you're like, wow, this is really daunting. I feel very overwhelmed. It's giving me a lot of anxiety. I'm going to raise my hand here because that's usually me. I have to break it down into little chunks. So, maybe you want everything done like yesterday, because that's usually how I am as well. I have to break it down into small chunks, and I'll say for 15 minutes, and I will set a timer. I'm one of those people. I'll set a timer and I'll say, okay, I'm going to sit down for 15 minutes, and whatever I learn, whatever I get done on my website for today is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just good enough. If at the end of that 15 minutes, I'm having a good time and I want to keep going and I'm not frustrated and I don't want to, run my laptop over with my car, I'll keep going, and maybe I can add something additional to that, or maybe I can brainstorm something else. Then the more you're in the product, it's, again, I do a lot of analogies with cars because I love cars. It's like driver's ed. I can go online and I can look at driver's ed all I want, but once I get in the car and I start going, I'm not going to jump on the local interstate and just go up the road. I'm probably going to tool around some back streets, get very comfortable in the car, and I'm going to learn how it works. So again, 15 to 30 minutes a day. Maybe you think that's too much. Maybe 2 days a week, maybe weekly, you spend a half an hour on your website. The point is that if you do that, 6 months from now, your website's probably going to look really good. It's going to have some content on it. Other than 6 months from now, you're going to wish that you had started. And also remember, again, cheesy cliche, I say it all the time, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It really is true. And I think personally, for me, I would rather work on the website than run a marathon. I don't know, am I right? I don't know if anybody's with me on that. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But again, just realizing that any progress is good progress. Just if you're not doing anything, that's usually the only time maybe, to worry. And again, this session is intended to give you some basic training on creating the custom pages on your Moxie website. So again, custom pages allow you some flexibility there to get some good content on your website. You can present anything that you wish for your site visitors. You guys are the professionals. You're out there in the field. You know what people want. You know what your rules and your regulations and your compliance things are in your area. So please always do follow those. But you can use your website to display information, again, about communities that you serve. I did this in my area because on Facebook and groups, I'm not allowed to talk about real estate, but I can share community information on my real estate page and no one cares. No one's ever said anything to me. I've gotten several referrals that way. And then everybody in my community knows I'm the person that knows everything in my community. Like, I know where everything is. I know where all the events are. That's taken a little bit of work on my part, but I'm able to display that knowledge on my website. You can present your marketing strategy. If you want to do a video, allow people to meet you. If you don't want to do a video, maybe it's just a really great bio and a photo. That people get to meet you. You're a real person. You're not just floating out there. And with custom pages, you're able to embed YouTube videos. They're going to play right from your website. You can add virtual tours, again, those blogs, and you can also spotlight community pages. And for anybody on the call that loves social media as much as I do, this is going to give you great content to share on social media. So we're going to direct everybody back to your website, drive that traffic back to your website. We're going to review those 6 steps now. And just remember, we will do a live demo after we go through the slides. So the very first step would be to log into MoxieWorks and click on your Moxie website. Once your Moxie website comes up, you're going to see a little thing over on the side. It's going to say site pages in your agent admin, and you can click on that particular button. And then you're going to add a new page at the top. You can see here on the screenshot, we have lots of different pages. This is a demo. So when you first come in, you may not have anything at all. You might only have actually your home screen at the top, but you can add a whole bunch of pages to your website. Again, it doesn't have to be 50 of them. Maybe you have 5. Maybe some people have 15. Again, it's all about whatever you want. From that, you're going to add new when that pops up, and there's actually like a drop down there for you. And you can see there are a lot of options for your website. So there is a separate blog page. You have custom search. You can put in a profile page, a testimonial page. We're going to concentrate on the custom pages just for the sake of this particular session. And then you're going to hit submit. Once you select submit, really all you need to do is add a title and then add some text. And that's really, again, whatever you want this page to be about. Maybe you have, I had an agent the other day that sent me hers. She was really excited. She was like, I figured it out. And she made a separate page for a new listing that she had that just came out. She's getting ready to have an open house. So she featured it on a custom page on her website. She was able to send that out when she sent things out through Moxie Engage. She included the link to her website. She was including stuff from Moxie Impress, like she's putting stuff on social media. And she was like, my sellers were really impressed with me because I looked like I was doing all of this marketing. And it was, she said it was actually kind of simple to go in and do that. Now you will see here, there are a lot of little modules here. So there's a lot of opportunity there to have what they call rich text. So if you want to go in and you want to bold something, I did write them sideways. Sorry, that's the only way they would fit on my slide. But you do have a text editor so that if you want to align things a certain way, maybe you want to align it in the center. Maybe you want to add a hyperlink to something. That's always good for those that know what SEO is, to boost your search engine optimization. Links are very good to things. If you want to go full screen, if you're like me and you can't see anything on this tiny screen, you can go full screen to work on it as well. There's ways to add media as well. So these are just kind of like shortcuts that help you as you begin to build your page. And when you hover over them, and we'll show you in the live demo, they're going to pop up. So you don't have to remember what all these little icons do. So if you get there and you kind of panic, it's okay. It will help you out. For those that are a little more advanced, we are in the essentials class right now in the session. But if you like to use HTML and you want to use source code, I was a little irritated when I first came in because I didn't know where the source code was. It is under the tools button. So for any of you that know what a source code is, if you want to embed YouTube videos, embed things in your website, you do have that capability. And then when you are done, it is this simple. You can just save it and you can publish it. What I always suggest is I'm very big on publishing it. I will go to the top and I will show you this to visit the site and see what it looks like live, just to make sure that it looks like what I thought it looked like in my head. And then you always have the opportunity to go back and edit these any way that you see fit. I have a communities page that I have on my website, and anytime, every once in a while, I'll go through the hyperlinks. I'll make sure all the information is accurate. If I have a business on there that's closed, maybe I want to remove that or replace it with something else. And now we are going to go live. So hopefully this will work correctly, because we know that it doesn't always work, but we're going to pull up our demo account here. All right. Looks like it stopped sharing for me, so I'm going to share my screen again. And hopefully you guys can see my screen. It is signing in right now. And you'll see here, I have a demo account. It's not going to be as pretty as yours. It's not going to have the beautiful colors of your brand and all of those things. But here I've gone into Moxie Works, and at the top, I've just clicked on my website. By clicking on my website, it's going to pull up my agent website admin tool. From there, you can kind of go into a lot of different common tasks. So someone earlier asked, where should I start? If you don't want to build a custom page to start with, this is where I would start with some of the custom tasks, personalizing your site style, personalizing the homepage. These are all things that we've done in MoxieWorks Hours Essentials before. I'm sure we'll cover them again. It'll be kind of like a circulating thing there where we're going to go through this stuff again. But for the sake of this particular session, we're going to go into our custom pages. So you'll see over here on the left-hand side, there is something that says Site Pages. And here I can either add new from this particular screen, or really what I'm in the habit of doing is just going into all pages. My thing is I always like to make sure whatever I'm brainstorming, I didn't already somewhere, like I didn't already do it somewhere, or it doesn't look like something I already have. And you'll see that we've built out, again, because this is a demo page, we have several things that are in here. And I'll kind of jump in and kind of show you what some of the ones that are already finished look like. But for this sake, we're just going to go in and to show you how to build it from scratch, we're just going to hit this add new button here at the top. And again, that's where that drop down comes in. And you'll have the slide deck. So if you need those screenshots, like I often do when I'm learning something, you'll have that to go by. And we're just going to click on custom page there and we're going to submit that. What that's going to do is it's going to think for a second. And luckily my internet cooperated, knock on wood, and it popped right up. So now I'm going to add a new page and it'll say, what's this? So anytime you have those, you can kind of click on them. It's really small, I apologize. But from here, it says we can create a custom page. So I want to type in the name for the page, enter the content that I want to display on that particular page. I'm going to save it. And once I do, it's just going to appear magically on my website. So I don't have to have a web builder. I don't have to do any of those things. I can just go in and do it myself. But I do have to make sure that I publish it. You can go in and I know you guys are super busy. If you're like me, I'm in the middle of building something and the client calls, or, something happens and I have to stop what I'm doing and I'm not ready to publish because it is not fit for the public to see quite yet. We do have the option over here to save a draft so that you can always come back into it. So again, if you don't have more than 10-15 minutes to do this and you're not finished, don't fret. No one's going to go to your website and see a half-finished page. You can still look professional. You can save that draft and come back into it later. And I like that this is here because sometimes I even need this reminder. And then also, if you want this page to appear anywhere but at the bottom end of your website navigation, you can go to all pages, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And you can drag and drop and kind of put them in the order that you want them to be in. And you can also click more about this and it'll give you some additional details. So I'm just going to say this is going to be a testing page just for the sake of this demo. And let's say I have, let's say I want to do, I'm having an open house. So I want to feature my open house on my website. Here I have open house. Let's say I have open house, this Saturday. I'm going to put the date. So let's see, today's the 18th. So that would be the 20th. And I'm going to say it's from 12 to 3 p.m. However you normally put these out. And I want to put some information about the property. But let's say I want to put an image here because I really want to get people's attention. So I can bold this. I can put it in italics if I want. Now I want to add some media. So there's different ways that I can do this. If you click on the insert edit media here, what you're going to see for a photo is it wants a source code. So it's not going to just let me upload something from my computer or my phone or my tablet, which is probably the way I prefer it because it's easier. I would have to go to something like postimage.org. I'd have to get a code. I'm not going to worry about this. I'm going to show you the easier way to do it. But I can also embed anything I want. So maybe I have a really great listing video. Maybe I have, something that maybe I've already put it on YouTube and I want to put that in here. You can do that here. And there's alternate sources and posters there as well for people that like to be more advanced. The easiest way to add media is just to click this add media button. So I can go to add media. You'll see here I already have some media here, but maybe I want to upload files and I want to upload from my computer. So here I have my computer, here I have my new listing, and I can just click on this particular photo and it's going to upload. It's going to save it on my website. So if I ever needed to go back in, you'll see I've already used this photo. It's still going to allow me to save it again. I could just go back and use a photo if I need to use the same photo over and over. If it's a logo, if it's my own photo, if it's something I use frequently, you'll see it has saved everything that we've put in here. And now that it's checked off, I can uncheck it. But if I want to select that, I'm just going to click on that photo. I can give it some alternate text. It does have a title. That title came over with it from my computer. I can give it a caption if I want. Sometimes that just means that Google knows what this photo is. I can give it a description. I'm just going to do the basics right now, and I'm just going to click on the photo because I don't have time. I'm a busy agent, and I'm going to insert it into my particular page. Now, let's say this isn't the only photo I want to use here. One of my favorite things, and it took me a little while to learn how to use it effectively without wanting to throw it out the window. When you click on this photo, you have the opportunity to say, yes, I want to align this. I want it to be in the center. I want to align this to the left or to the right, or I want to edit it. So I'm going to align mine to the left. And I'm also going to make it a little bit smaller. So you'll see, hopefully it'll be large enough. You'll see as I scroll down with this corner here, I'm just clicking on the box, the little arrows pop up, and I can drag this down. And now I have, let's see, I am at 448 and 297. And I'm going to write that down because my brain's not going to remember numbers. So I'm going to write that down for myself. I'm going to show you why. If you're like me, I want to put another picture next to it. I want them to be the same size. That's really hard to do with just my eyes. I can't always judge, are they quite the same size? This is going to allow me to do that. And then I'm just going to space over some. Actually, here, let me put my cursor down here. And I'm going to add another picture. So here we have our picture here. And I can go ahead and add another photo as well. And I'm just going to choose one that's already here. And I'm going to insert that photo. Now, because I had my cursor up here, it put the photo there. That's okay. I'm going to click on that photo. I'm going to align it to the left, just like I did with the other one. And I can kind of pull that down. And this is where it can get a little tricky. Maybe you don't care if they're the same size, but now I can kind of bring that down. And it was 448 and 297. So as I go down here, 448, let's see if I can get, oh, it's going to make me go in between. You'll see here, I have, they're both the same size. And let's see if my computer is going to cooperate. Because it's a demo account, sometimes it does not like me. Oh, there we go. So you can see, even if this isn't exactly at 448 to the naked eye, it's still pretty close. I am one of those people that I would probably sit there for an hour and yell at it, but 447, I'm good enough with that. It pretty much looks the same. And then I can go on and I can say, you know, this is a 3-bedroom, this is a 2-bathroom. You know, I can add additional content underneath or above it. And let's see if it's going to let me. There we go. And then once I'm done, let's say I have all my other information for the property. I've input, you know, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, where is it located? Here is my little, my verbiage from the MLS, you know, tell you a little bit more about the property. I can add additional photos if I want. I can really do as much or as little with this as I want. And then there are some additionals. So we're in an essentials class, but just to know, if you are a little more advanced and you want to add a slug to this, that would just be this little part here. So we have our website address, where the backslash and whatever comes after the backslash, I don't know where they got this name from, is called a slug. Maybe I want this to have the name of the property. So this is 712 Asher Court. I can do that. Maybe I want to add, this is for 712 Asher Court. Any way that you want to do that, you can do that. You can do Yoast for those that like the premium there. You can do that. You can do that as well. We're not going to get into that right now, but just know that it is there for you. And let's say somebody called me on the phone and I'm not quite finished. I can just save this draft and I can get into it from my site pages, all pages. I can get back into it. I can do anything that I need. That's really important, especially for an open house, because let's say I schedule the open house for Sunday and it goes under contract. Well, then I need to take this down. I'm able to go in and do that as well. For now, we're just going to go ahead and publish, but you'll see on the side, it doesn't have a parent page. So it's not like a sub page. It's its own particular custom page. Also, it is in draft form right now. I haven't published it yet. Visibility, it will be visible to the public. And again, you can click to edit these. Maybe I want it to be a private page. You can do that. Edit here, again, pending review. Maybe I need somebody else to review it. Hide from navigation menu. Maybe I don't want it on the menu itself. Maybe I just want to send the link to people and that's how they discover it. It's okay for the readability, and SEO is not available right now because it's not published. And I can also set a feature image if I like, but again, just for the basics, I'm going to go ahead and publish this particular page. In publishing this page, now we can see it is published. I do have the opportunity here to view my page. So if I want to see what does it look like live, I can click on this. It's going to take me directly to it. You can see I didn't put any additional information there, but I have my open house here, open house this Saturday. I have the pictures and anything else that I put underneath, it would allow me to insert there. So you can kind of get a glimpse of what you can do with these pages. Really, if you can dream it, you can build it. And I know that sounds kind of far-fetched, but really, it's just where your imagination goes. What kind of information do you want to put out about your own business? So if I go again into site pages and all pages, you can see here we do have the property pages. We can go through and hide some of those or have them live, buying and selling. I would go in and edit my buying page and I would add a hyperlink to my Moxie presentation, my buyer's guide. You can do that. I love that the tools kind of interact. I can take something from Moxie Impress, one of my social media posts. An agent that told me she did this last week. She created a custom page for her new listings. She included that social media piece on that page. And then she was able to kind of push that out to various circles. She sent it out through Moxie Engage. She said, hey, did you see my latest post on Facebook? Did you miss it? Here's the link to click to it. Here's the link to the website. And she was able to get that information out. She said she had like a lot of people, I don't know how many people, but at her open house. You can see here we've created just some client testimonials, Zap reviews, things like that, real satisfied reviews, things that you can pull over. Home care advice is one of my favorites just because I still consider myself a new homeowner. So I find that really, really valuable to anyone that owns a home. I don't need to be buying or selling. Your website is now valuable to me. And you can see, you can go in, once you've created something, you can view it. And this is just some home care tips. I'm trying to get Moxie to give me some parameters here and dimensions to make sure these pictures are good. But you can click on that and you'll see this custom page here is a blog type page. And really all I did was list 8 things that you should do with your house in August. I'm still a new homeowner. I've only been here 6 years. I went on the internet and I just researched and I picked ones that I thought were pretty good. And I posted this, and now I can take this particular link and I can share that out to social media. This particular photo, I'm a Canva junkie, so I made it in Canva. You can just pull a stock image. One thing I will tell you when building your custom pages, make sure that you're not going to Google and just grabbing a photo. A lot of them are They are copyrighted. So if you use Canva, you can go to different places to get stock images. I use Unsplash and Plexels a lot of the time to get things that are, you know, a photographer took it and said, hey, anybody can use this in their marketing. So if you've ever noticed where you've seen the same house on a lot of real estate stuff, that would be why. So just make sure that you know, if you need a photo, again, this was the same thing you'll see here. I have a different sized image here, just trying to play around with it, see what fits best, what looks best. I skipped July, shame on me. But it gives me good quality content on my website, and it gives me something that I can share on social media. Another thing that you'll see that we have here that we've created are client testimonials. A lot of people have reached out and said, look, I have all these client testimonials. They're on my Zap site or they're on my Business Builder Market Leader site. I don't want to lose them. What do I do? I'm a copy and paster. So what I did for this particular one, for the views, is if you have some pictures of your clients, you can just put their names here. I did try to include the little stars and they came up as question marks. So that might be where you could say like 5 out of 5 stars or 4 out of 5 stars. I have one agent I was working with that at the end put, you know, review from Zillow or review from Real Satisfied, review from Zap. That way they know, you know, that you're not just in here making this stuff up, but here we just have some reviews. People can go there and they can see what other people have said about you. And it's really up to you. Some people like to include those settlement photos. Some people want to have a picture of the house, maybe something ambiguous there. You don't even have to include photos if you don't want, they're not a requirement, but you do have that particular capability as well. And like I was saying earlier, you'll see here as we go down here, maybe I want to take this home care advice and I want to move it up. I can do that. I can put these in any order that I want them in. And what that's going to do, you have the capability to view your site at any time that you want. Visit your live site and you will see up here, properties, buying and selling, Zap reviews, client testimonials, those things. I moved my home care advice up. It was all the way down here. So I moved it up here. And you'll see here just different things here that you can add. There's different widgets, different things. Those are not the basics. We'll get into those in some other sessions, but you'll be able to add things into your custom pages to really make them stand out. So that's kind of the basics. If you want to create a custom page, again, about you, you know, a blog, testimonials, open houses, anything really that you can think of. If you have other products that your brand gives to you, look at those products and think, is there a way for me to feature that on my website? Because I'm a very big fan of not recreating the wheel. And if my brand is giving me something and I can take it and put it on my website and I have content and I didn't have to think about it, I am totally okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I'm going to pause for just a second as I pull up the presentation again. So bear with me for that. But if Alex, if you want to jump in and if there's any chat questions that you want to address live, the famous Alex is here. Anything?
Yeah, just real quick. I think Jim was asking about Real Satisfied reviews to be added on a custom page. Yeah, that's very easily added, Jim. And then for anybody else who's maybe new or first timer on these MoxieWorks hours, we do follow up with a list of recordings of previous sessions, of which iframes and other topics that are very popular are listed. So that email will contain the different dates and recording links, as well as the topics that were discussed. So lots of good information there if you've missed previous recording or previous sessions.
Yeah, we'll go into, and again, that's a great thing. I mentioned a survey earlier. That's really where you can add some notes to the survey. and let us know what you're looking for, because that's another thing. We want to make sure that we're giving you all the support that you need as you launch, and not just during launch, but after launch as well, because this is really your bread and butter. This is how you make your money. So we want to make sure that it's working for you and that you're comfortable and confident using it. And I always say my favorite testimonial about Moxie Anything is a gentleman that I worked with for several years. His name's Pat Kane. He's been a real estate agent for 47 years. He's owned his own business, came back to the brand that he loved. And his thing was, I love Moxie because I can go in and I can create what I want to create. And it looks like somebody very professional and much more techie than myself did it. But it's just putting that time in sometimes to use it. And he said, I use my website all the time. I use the tools all the time. The tools are not what sells an agent or brokerage. It just allows you to sell yourself. We are salespeople. That is what we do. I have to do it as well. So it just gives you the ability to share your value proposition and stay top of mind. That's the other thing too. So we will have a little fun chat. Have you had the opportunity to work on your Moxie website yet? And if you have, what is your favorite feature of the Moxie website? So I'm sure a lot of you on the call are newer. You may not have had the opportunity yet to dive in just yet. Hopefully you're excited now to get going. But if you have a favorite feature, maybe you haven't been in enough to see those features quite yet. I happen to like the custom pages just because it allows me the opportunity to be creative, to showcase anything that I want to showcase. I have multiple community pages, and I will be honest with you guys, as you're creating your Moxie websites, I took a lot of content out of my Moxie presentation. I did a community presentation just because I wanted to go on, to show a buyer that, yes, I do know the area that you're looking in, or to convince a seller, I know this area better than anybody else. And I cheated a little bit, and I took all of the information out of my presentation and I built a custom page out of it. And it didn't take me that long because I had already put in the work. So that's something else that I always want to stress as you are getting into Moxie, into Moxie Works. Think of ways that you can make that content coexist. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of known in my neighborhood I live in Joppatown, and I'm known for knowing where everything is. I know when the food trucks are coming. I know when there's a kayak event at the local park. Like, I know where all these things are, not because I know them, but because I have different websites and different pages on social media that I follow. I literally just kind of regurgitate the information, but people now come to me in the community when they have questions. I'm a referral agent because I don't compete with you guys, but if I sold real estate, I always tell everybody I would dominate my area. That's the only yard sign that you would see. And it's not because I know more than anybody else, but I have the tools that can showcase what I know. So I love, Cynthia says, worked on my website. It has a professional look, still learning. Yeah, so that's okay. If you're still learning, we all have to start somewhere. And we do have some pages out there that are magnificent, but they all started where we're starting, at the beginning. That's where we all start. So if there's any additional questions that you guys have about creating a custom page, about your website, feel free to throw those in chat. If you want to come off mic, if you want to ask us, we are. And again, thank you, Alex. He's quick on the draw today, the famous Alex. We do have that survey like we were talking about. If you click the link in chat, it's going to take you. You can let us know that you are at Moxie Works hours. And I always preface it with saying, if it's good news, if it's bad news, however you feel, please just be honest. That's how we're learning. We're getting better. We want to give you the best support possible, because really what I want to hear in the future is your testimonial. So you might be new at Moxie websites today, maybe 6 months from now, you're the person that comes to us and says, hey, I got a listing from my website, or I got a couple buyers from my website, or I was able to share this on social media. And now all these people, are following me and they think that I'm the guru in the area. So definitely, if you have any testimonials now that you want to share, we're open to that as well. And yes, Debbie, we will send out the recording as well.
I have two questions. If you want, if like I do Rate My Agent, so there's a profile page with all of my testimonials there. I did add a widget to the footer for Real Satisfied, but if
Okay.
I wanted to create a custom page and direct somebody to that Rate My Agent profile page, would you do a custom page and then insert a link?
Yeah, so you can do it that way. I don't know that there is a specific widget for that in the Moxie website, but that's why I personally love the custom page, because I can create a page on my website. If you want to take a little bit of content from there and put it on that page and just say, hey, for more information, go here. Or maybe it's a nice picture and it says, here's where you can go to get this information. I don't really feel as a consumer myself, if I want the information, I'm gonna click on it. And I'd rather you send me somewhere where I can get all that really good information. So yeah, there's a way to feature just about anything on your website when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Okay, and I know like when you do an embed, it looks different than when you just paste a link. So if there was not an embed code and you wanted to paste the link, would you put a picture on there and then paste the link underneath the picture so that they could click on that?
Yeah, so there's two different ways that you can do that. You can either add a photo, so it could be a photo that you have, something again that you have permission to use, of course, something from Canva, something from maybe it's a screenshot of that page, and you put it on your website. You can actually hyperlink the photo itself, where maybe it says click here. Somebody can click the photo and be whisked away to that information. Or a lot of times, if you want to have a photo, you can actually type out what you want to say. So that long, I always call them ugly, I should stop that. But that really long URL that looks like Swahili that makes no sense to most people.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, it's ugly to me. Like, I don't want to look at that. But you can actually type what you want to say, like, hey, are you looking for reviews? Visit this website to see what, people have to say about me. You can highlight that. And then that's where in the custom page where it says link, once you've highlighted it and you hit link, it's going to highlight those words. They'll turn blue, they'll be underlined. So it has that really pretty aesthetic, which is what I like. And there's nothing wrong if you want to use the link. You can put the link in there. There's no wrong answer for it. But if you want to, hey, click here to visit, this page to see testimonials or anything of that nature. I had an agent I worked with the other day that did that. Now in my state, I'm in Maryland, we do have to review these at least once a year to make sure everyone's still licensed. But she did a vendor page. Hey, you need to turn on your electric. You can call Baltimore Gas and Electric. Here's the number. Here's the website. Are you looking for water? Here are all the water places and all of their websites and their phone numbers. So she had a page that she was sending buyers to when they were new to the area, when they needed to disconnect cable, reconnect Fios or Xfinity or whatever they had. And then she got a little nitty gritty and she started saying, well, here are some of the vendors I work with. Are you looking for a painter? This is the painter I use. Here's his license number. Here's his information. Now, we do have to go through that once a year and mandate that all of them are still licensed and good standing. It's just something that Maryland does. But what she found was after a while, it wasn't just buyers that were using that information. They were sharing that with their friends. Somebody said, hey, I need the number for a painter. And they were literally pasting her website page, her custom page. Hey, there's some painters on this page. My agent is great. This person's worked with these people. Here's information. And her website page, it started getting shared with people that weren't even looking for real estate. And she started getting referrals that way. So that's why I was saying kind of think outside of the box. But yeah, you can definitely do that as a photo, as a link, create that custom page for it and redirect. And I would say too, if there's something that you're looking for and you're not finding it on the website, go to support.moxieworks.com, submit a ticket, and there's a feature request. So feature requests for things that you're looking for, and I guarantee you're not the only one. And I can speak from experience that several feature requests that I've put in, I know other agents have put in, have, I don't wanna say magically appeared, but they've been populated because they're listening to us. Like, they want us to use the products. We want to use the products, but we also want to use them in the way that benefits our business. Because again, if it's not making you money, if it's not making me money, I don't want to spend time on it, honestly.
Right. Right. Yep, I get you. And then Angie, the other thing that you had said was when you were creating that custom page, you had said that you can click for it to be visible on the web page, like on the website. So if you created a custom page specifically to share on social media, but somebody clicked on it, would that bring them to your website where they could navigate to your homepage or anywhere else on your website?
Yeah, so like that home care advice that I had, I like to share those on my social media because for whatever reason, my audience on social media loves that stuff. And if they were to click on the link, I always put the link, it's going to take them to my website. And I like that because I think most people have a very short attention span. So once they look at that advice, they can then go to other places on my website to get information. And again,
Okay.
that's why I said, you know, if you're not done with it, you don't want it to be live, hit the save draft. It's going to file it on that list. And again, you can put that anywhere on the list that you want to put it on your website, anywhere you want. But once it's published and it's live, anybody that gets to that link can view that page and then view your entire website as well.
Okay, great. You're just not clogging up your website with a gazillion pages.
No, and
Okay.
that's why I said be very thoughtful in what works for your business, because what works for your business and what works for mine, they could be totally different, especially since we're in different areas. But that's why I said that, like, the basics, some community information, your testimonials should live there. Those types of things are good to have on your website. And then really it's up to you, whatever. That's why I said the blog thing comes in, because then it's blogging and it's not really junking up your website because it's all in one format. They can go back and look at previous blogs. They can look at this blog. You know, sometimes it can be a little more of a time commitment, but it's totally up to you. There's no wrong answer. Even if you just turn your website on, just having the basics. That's
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if we don't have any other questions, anybody? Bueller?
Yeah, if I can add something, Angie, real quick for
Sure.
everybody, especially because the end of year is coming up and the sunset of many products, as everybody well knows, is going to happen fairly soon. You want to preserve, it's especially since we're talking about websites, you want to preserve those reviews, those testimonials somehow, some way. So a lot of those techniques that Angie just talked about, you want to implement. So before those websites go away, you want to make sure you either copy and paste into those custom pages or take photos of those reviews to retain those 5 stars and create those custom pages. Somehow, some way, you want to make sure you save those because they're going to go away pretty soon. So utilizing those custom pages that Angie talked about today is the way to save those, even though they're not going to be updated or added to using your previous platform, but at least you preserve them some way. And then you can have, like Calvin asked about, okay, is there a way for MoxieWorks or Moxie websites to automatically email the customer and get feedback in return and post to the website? So there's something called Testimonial Tree that you may want to look into. That's an add-on. Okay, but you do have the option of adding testimonials by copying and pasting or typing it in on your own into your website, and also reviews, like some of you have Zap reviews that you want to take pictures of and creating those custom pages. And we do talk about this in other previous MoxieWorks sessions. Just want to make sure that's highlighted because that end of year is coming soon and we don't want anybody to kind of say bye-bye to those that great content that y'all worked so hard for. Thanks, Angie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I spoke.
No, I love that, Alex. And you give the perfect excuse to dive in because it's already content that's there. You don't have to create it. you can literally, like you said, preserve it. If it's copying and pasting, if it's whatever it is, however you want to get it onto your current website, you can do that. And I did see one, and you may have already answered it, Alex. If an office creates a page, and I've actually seen this a lot, if the office has created a page, like you said, embed that URL to that and have it, that's something that they can feature on their own website, and that's a great idea. Having that information out there. Yeah. Yep, and the iframe feature, we didn't really dive into that too much today, but you can also add what's called an iframe, and what that does is it showcases another website or other information on your website without somebody having to leave. So it could be a YouTube video, it could be Real Satisfied reviews, it could be Zillow reviews, it could be anything that you have that you want to showcase. But yeah, definitely want to be cognizant of the fact that those Zap and Business Builder websites eventually will go away. My suggestion is to make them as evergreen as possible as you get into MoxieWorks and work on your website here. But definitely lots of good stuff that you can do. Be patient with yourself. But I love it because it definitely can make you money. That's what it's all about. And if you would fill out our survey, just let us know how we did. Let us know what you'd like to see in the future in these sessions as well. We appreciate your time, your feedback. We know how busy you are. You guys are doing all the things, and this is not the only thing that you're doing. We know that. We appreciate your time. And with that, any other questions? Oh, we do have one more question before we go. What about Google reviews? Is that compatible? And yeah, that's something that you can also use an iframe for. I don't believe that there's a widget for it. But I always say if you're looking for a widget for something, definitely go in and put in that feature request. There is power in numbers, and eventually they'll find a way to make it work. But yeah, you can definitely put that on your site as well.
Yeah, and that's just one thing, Angie, just to kind of elaborate on what you just said. When Angie speaks of a widget, some of you are saying, okay, what is that? With the power of MoxieWorks, right? It comes to, it's confusing to some, but then also you have a lot more flexibility than what you've probably experienced in the past. So when I talk about testimonial tree widget, and when somebody's talking about, can I add real satisfied reviews using iframe, all of those things, the answer is yes, but right, you have to know how to do it. And there's a lot of support in the support.moxieworks.com success portal that you all have access to, but just want to make sure that, yeah, it does support so many features, but you just gotta work with it, just as Angie spoke about. So,
and I'm gonna leave.
Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you, Alex. That was really good to point out. And I will leave you with, I did say last question, but I saw a really good question in here too. How do you keep people if they click on a link from your website? And I didn't go over that. That was my bad. You want to make sure that it opens in a new window. So if it opens in a new window, if you're like me and you always have 500 tabs open, I've gone to your website. I'm going to look at this community event. I've gone somewhere else. When I click off, oh, your website's still open. So I'm back at your website. So that's a good feature as well.
But one more thing, Angie, but wait, there's more. Just one thing for those of you on the call that, let's say, don't have any listings, your Moxie website, you can have featured office listings, other people's listings, other companies' listings. Okay, so just make sure you know that. I think in Zap, you didn't have that option, but with Moxie websites, you do. So look into that. It's found on the same exact pages that Angie just went over, and you could select which listings you have, open house listings, other people's listings. So you don't have to be restricted if you don't have any listings to show. Thank you.
So with that, we will let you go. We're right at time. We want to be, again, very appreciative of your time. We know you guys are busy. You're doing all the other things in addition to Moxie Work. So we want to thank you for your patience. Thank you for attending today's session. You will receive a copy of the recording and the slide deck as well that had some of those step-by-step screenshots. Again, please fill out the survey. We want to hear from you. We appreciate your feedback. That's how you have a voice. We are listening. And with that, have a great day. And I hope you have a very, very great weekend.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you.